Welcome everyone to my Ultra League Obstagoon Spotlight, and I know that we might not even get to play Ultra League because of the glitches and whatnot, but still I wanted to make this video featuring NERAB21, and he is using an Obstagoon with Counter, Night Slash and Cross Chop, Cresselia with Psycho Cut, Moonblast and Future Sight, or Origin Giratina instead of Altered Giratina with Shadow Claw, Omnus Wind and Shadow Ball instead of the Dragon Pulse variant. Now you can run Dragon Pulse and Shadow Ball, that is absolutely alright, but you need Omnus Wind to bait against other Altered Giratinas to land the Shadow Ball. So let's see how he plays them. So he is leading Giratina. Most of the games I think he led Giratina O. What Giratina Origin has over Giratina Altered is the Cresselia matchup. It's a lot more playable with Giratina Origin, and now he safe swaps into his Obstagoon. Now Obstagoon, being a dark and normal type, will triple resist other Altered Giratina's ghost type moves. It is a bit iffy if it's running Dragon Breath, but Alolan Mug here needs to land the Sludge Wave or Gunk Shot to do some damage, because this Dark Pulse do so little damage. That did about what, 15%, 10-15% of Obstagoon's health. Obstagoon is quite tanky, and it is a dark type. It's not a fighting type, it's a dark type with counter. It's a dark normal type, so it's very weak to other fighters. It's 4 times weak to other fighters, so keep that in mind. So he paired up Giratina Origin and Cresselia for that fighter weakness, because both win against fighters. And Giratina Origin has very good matchups versus fire types, Swamperts, although you do need to be wary of the Earthquakes. And here you see that he swapped into an Giratina Altered. Now this is where Origin Giratina shines. Now it is running Dragon Breath, so Cresselia now has a field day, because Dragon Breath Altered loses bad to Cresselia, because Dragon Breaths are doing a lot less damage than Shadow Sneak. Shadow Claw, because Shadow Claw is stab and it's super effective, and Cresselia will just pump out Moonblast left and right. See how little damage Cresselia is taking from Dragon Breath. This is crazy. Cresselia is, I don't know guys, I feel like Cresselia needs a nerf, because I used Cresselia before the Moonblast buff and it was extremely good even back then. It would beat some Altered Giratinas even without the Moonblast buff, and now the buff to Moonblast is just crazy. And now he's just going to Shadow Claw down Altered Giratina. Now Origin Giratina wins straight versus Altered Giratina if you bait. Now here he lost the lead very hard. Now he is going to try to duck, but he didn't get his opponent anticipated the safe swap, so his opponent is running an Acid Spray Alolan Mug. This is a bit weird, because Acid Spray and Dark Pulse isn't going to do anything to Obstagoon even after the debuff, the defense debuff. So here the Dark Pulse did 20% damage, and he's going to go straight Cross Chop and finish this match. Obstagoon is so strong versus other dark types and ghost types, like it just hardballs them. And versus Cresselia, it's really iffy. You need to take it to the 2 shields. It can tank a Moonblast, but it's very iffy. So now let's see what he does. I think this is a very meta line. He probably has Cresselia in the back. It's an extremely meta line with Alolan Mug, Swampert and Cresselia, with safe swap strategy, and a very popular team around the viewers of King and Zionic, because they featured this team quite some time, and most mons here are very accessible. Swampert and Alolan Mug is very accessible for everyone, and Cresselia is the only expensive one of the three, and with the new quest, everyone probably has a Cresselia or everyone traded it. So his opponent does a great switch here, and they swap to his Alolan Muck, and he's going to Shadow Claw down. He's going to farm that Alolan Muck down. That Dark Pulse, he shields the Dark Pulse. Yes, he's going for a straight farm down. And Giratina Origin with energy is extremely dangerous. Like, it doesn't really, nothing really hard wall set except for Snorlax, and even if that's a Snorlax, that's going to take some damage. And his opponent is actually using armored Mewtwo instead of Cresselia, and that's a very bulky mon, and you just saw how much damage that Shadow Ball did. Like, it almost did like 60% of its health, one Shadow Ball. And he's going to just sweep with Giratina Origin. I know, like, this is like an Obstagoon spotlight, but Giratina Origin taking the spotlight from Obstagoon. And this is a very favorable lead for Giratina Origin. I'm sorry for the sound. There's a construction going on beside my house. So Earthquake does a lot of damage, but after that, Giratina can still go straight Shadow Ball or try to bait. Even if he goes for an Omnis Wind, it's alright. Now he is going to shield, because that Hydro Cannon is going to kill. Altered Giratina isn't as bulky as Origin Giratina isn't as bulky as Altered, but here this is where Altered Giratina shines. These Psycho Cuts are doing nothing. One turn earlier and he would get an Omnis Wind that would probably put Cresselia into KO range. And now he switches on to his Obstagoon. Now Obstagoon is going to outspeed Cresselia by one turn. If Cresselia is leading in one Psycho Cut, Cresselia is going to get a Moonblast. You saw there, like, Obstagoon got a Night Slash, and right after that Cresselia got a Moonblast. And he got an attack debuff. So this is where, like, Cresselia is so deadly. So he's running two soft counters for Cresselia in Obstagoon and Giratina Origin. This team is kinda iffy versus Alolan Muck because both Cresselia and Giratina are weak. But Cresselia, if you see here, isn't really hardwalled by Alolan Muck. Like, Altered Giratina, Origin Giratina, yes, kinda hardwalled. But Cresselia, you see how much damage it's doing with Moonblast. Like, it will probably get to another Moonblast, and that Alolan Muck will have to shield that Moonblast. And he swaps into his Obstagoon, a great swap, and he goes for a Cross Chop to bait out his shields, or to, yes, that all that energy just got wasted on his Alolan Muck. So really well played here. And he has Cresselia in the back and his Obstagoon. Let's see how much damage Moonblast does. So Moonblast does about 50%, 55-ish percent to Obstagoon. It's super effective. So Obstagoon is actually quite bulky. Like, that's a super effective Moonblast. Any fighter would almost get almost one shot with that Moonblast. But Obstagoon surprisingly takes it well, and he has excess energy with his Cresselia, so he will just end the fight with a Moonblast. So very well played by NERAB21. Now this time he is facing a Venusaur lead. Now and with Empoleon in the back. So I am seeing a lot less Venusaur than Season 1 during the Season 2. A lot less Venusaur than Season 1 pre-season. There were a lot of Venusaurs because of the uprising of Cresselia and Registeel. Venusaur, I don't know, guys, like, it doesn't really do anything. Like, it beats Togekiss, which is a specialist mon that very few people uses now. Like, Togekiss isn't as common anymore, and it only beats Swampert, and it straight loses to Cresselia and Giratina. So here, if you can see, these Shadow Claws are doing nothing because they are triple resisted, and he cannot go Shadow Sneak, and with that attack buff, Let's see how much damage that he even tanks the Dragon Claw, because Shadow Claws are doing so little damage. So let's see how much that Night Slash does. That did about 35%, and his opponent quits. His opponent quits, I don't know why. So this is a very bad lead. He is facing a Shadow Articuno, and he safe swaps into his Obstagoon. So the method is same. Usually the Alolomuk users safe swap into Alolomuk, and here he swaps into Obstagoon, which I think is a better safe swap, because suppose you saw a Registeel, and Alolomuk doesn't really beat Registeel, and if your opponent's Registeel stays in the matchup, you're done. But Obstagoon counter does a lot of damage to Registeel, although you need to shield the Focus Blast, but still it's a lot closer than Alolomuk. Now here he is going to farm he's going to give up switch advantage and farm down that Escavalier. Escavalier, again, a really great mon, and he's going to go for probably back-to-back Shadow Balls. Let's see what he does. His Articuno shields the Shadow Ball, and he switches into his opponent switches into Venusaur. So this is where, guys, Venusaur lacks. Like, except for Swampert and a select few fairies, Venusaur doesn't really beat any core meta mons of the Ultra League. And here he's going to just farm down the opponent Venusaur for energy and go straight Moonblast for his opponent Articuno. So even though he lost the lead, with energy and using his shields wisely, efficiently, he managed to come back. So this Ice Wind probably going to KO. Yes, it does. And he has enough energy to get to a future sight, and this future sight is going to do a lot of damage and KO. So he swapped to remove his debuff and get his opponent's energy, which was a great tactic, and he won the matchup. So now he's facing a Charizard lead. I have seen quite few Charizards because of the rise in Registeel leads. I have seen a lot of Registeel, guys. Like, every time I play, I am seeing more Registeel than Altered Giratina in Ultra League when I was playing before the Ultra League shut down. And Giratina Origin is actually better than Giratina Altered versus Steel types like Melmetal and Registeel, because Shadow Balls is going to do a lot of damage to them. Like, yes, Flash Cannon and Rock Slide is going to hurt, but Shadow Ball is just a nuke. And the problem Altered form faces is that, like, it's really bulky, but it doesn't have that charge move pressure. It doesn't have that damage with its charge move. Like, yeah, like you can just spam the shit out of your opponent, but still, guys, like it's very hard against bulky mons like Cresselia and Registeel in the meta. And Giratina Altered, being a ghost type, should win against Cresselia, but it doesn't, because it doesn't have that charge move pressure. Cresselia can just tank Shadow Sneaks and Dragon Claws. So, but if it had Shadow Ball, it will probably become broken. So I don't really think giving it Shadow Ball is a great idea. But giving it Shadow Ball will probably help versus the Cresselia matchup. But apart from that, I'm sorry. There's a call. I forgot to mute my phone. So Cresselia is going straight Moonblast against Armored Mewtwo, and with the rise of Cresselia, Altered Mewtwo, Armored Mewtwo has become obsolete. There is no reason to power up and unlock an Armored Mewtwo with Cresselia in the horizon. Like, even before the Moonblast buff, Cresselia was so good against Altered Armored compared to Armored Mewtwo that I would actually suggest using Cresselia, and I was personally using Cresselia myself. But and I had a video ready, but Like, you know, like I actually record a lot and don't really edit the whole because I don't really get that much time these days. I have a lot of classes and assignments, so and I'm sorry about that. But his Obstagoon is going straight cross chop versus the Alolan Muck. Now Hyper Beam is I don't know guys, like Hyper Beam is a bit iffy, but Hyper Beam is great versus matches it loses. Suppose Obstagoon is facing Poliwrath, so one Hyper Beam would do a lot of damage to Poliwrath. And another matchup Obstagoon has over Alolan Muck is the Swampert. So Alolan Muck loses to Swampert if Swampert lands an Earthquake, it's one shot. Or if Swampert goes straight Hydro Cannon, the mud shots are doing a lot of damage to Alolan Muck. But Obstagoon is neutral to Hydro Cannons and Earthquakes, and it does a lot of damage with Counter and Night Slash. And if you get the buff, it's GG. If you get the Night Slash buff, which I saw a lot, like Night Slash is a 30% chance of a buff, right? So, and it's a 35 energy, so you can spam Night Slash in order to get the buff. So that is a strategy I have seen for that, people spamming Night Slash against the mons it resists to get the buff, and then double shielding their mon and just sweeping the whole opponent team after the buff. And if you get the buff, Cresselia loses. Cresselia loses in the 2 shield. If you get the buff in the first or second Night Slash, it loses in both 1 and 2 shields. Like, okay, just letting you guys know. So he's not going to shield, and he's going to again come back with his Origin Giratina and farm down that Swampert. Again, he's opting to get energy over switch advantage because again, Origin is so deadly with energy. It can just nuke everyone. That Charizard took a Shadow Ball to the face, and he will probably shield that Dragon Claw and farm him down for energy again. Farmed him down, and let's see what he has in the back. He has Swampert in the back and just one Shadow Claw is going to KO. So this was a short overview of the usefulness of Obstagoon as a safe swap and versus other dark types. Extremely weak to fighters, so don't let it get locked versus a fighter, but quite good versus steel type Swampert. It's very good in neutral situations, and even in some cases better than Alolan Muck. So you can power up Obstagoon, like you don't really need to max it out, and if you have a lucky, you can use a lucky and build a team around it. So my advice is take Cresselia or something that hardwalls fighters, like either Cresselia or Alter Giratina, or in NERAB21's case he took Origin. So you can take anything that beats fighters because Obstagoon is weak to it, and build a team around it. You can take Swampert, or you can use this specific team and change the leads to your preference, and have suppose you lead Obstagoon and have Origin Giratina or Cresselia as a safe swap. Cresselia again is a really great safe swap, and a lot of people tend to lead Alolan Mucks or other Cresselias. So this was basically it. Thank you for watching. This is probably going to be the last Ultra League video because the rest I am going to try to put out Premier League cups, because Premier League and Master League is going to start in like 3 days here, 3 or 4 days from now. So, and I don't know if Ultra League is going to come back during that time. So thanks for watching. This is Ahmed.